There's so much going on the web. I mean, it is an absolute game changer. Absolute game changer. I'm talking in the history of the human experience. The internet is an absolute game changer. I'm not talking about just like, you know, the 2010s versus the 90s or something. I'm talking about in the big macro scope of things. I don't know if you know who this guy is, Francis Bacon. Knowledge is power is his most famous quote. Knowledge is power. Well, in the older paradigm, in the paradigms previous to ours currently, that was true. Knowledge is power. But that's not true anymore. Connectivity is power. Because think about this little example. If we were all going to go somewhere and only one person in this room knew how to get there, then that's the powerful person that would become our leader we'd have to rally around because they have that knowledge, they have that information. Now connectivity eliminates that issue. It's a point-to-point connectivity. The system is set up from the beginning to treat content that way when you check that featured news box. This allows the fluid publishing of content. You don't want to go into a website and have to change a page of content. You want to add a piece of content. If they would do a piece of content and check it as stories, it would show up here. As news, it would show up there. And as marquee, it would show up in the marquee space. It would create that image with the rounded corners. It would put in the title. It would truncate and create continue reading. Imagine if you had this site and you didn't have the content management ability, and over time, what would happen to this website? Either the content would never change, or when it changed, it would start to look bad. You see where you type in the text and you have a little menu that looks like Microsoft Office or something. You can put in an excerpt, and then you can put some tags if you want, and then you can check your category. And if this said featured news, or if it said featured projects, that's what determines where all of the content goes on the website. It's as simple as that. But we go through a process when we're doing this where we have to decide what you want where. And we create kind of like a wireframe of what you want where on the page, and that's what controls how the thing's going to behave from now on. Because all the content's dynamic, meaning we don't just code it in. Instead, we code in code that says this: go get the most recent news item and display it right here. If you really think about what the internet is, it's all about human activity, right? You can't buy success on the internet. You have to achieve it. Like on a website, you're building an archive of content. On a Facebook page, you know, once it gets a couple screens down, your last post, it's gone. Twitter, like in a couple hours, that tweet is gone. You know, so it's about fluidity. It's about fluidity. If you have a nonprofit organization that you want people to feel like they can experience the good that you're doing on a regular basis, who you're interacting with, how you're helping, that constantness, that fluid kind of letting people see, it's like a reality show. Everybody recognizes the role that the internet plays in this. It's an absolute game changer in the most macro of senses. It has changed the way people communicate with people and the way our culture is evolving because of access and connectivity.